Have you ever felt like your true value just goes unseen? Like no matter what you do, you're still waiting for someone to finally recognize what you're really worth? An old monk once gave his student a simple, ordinary-looking stone. He had just one rule: don't sell it, but find out what it's worth. And what that student discovered wasn't just the price of a rock. It was a life-changing secret about how we value ourselves. High in the mountains, in a monastery wrapped in mist, lived a young student named Kale. He was dedicated and kind, but a shadow of doubt seemed to follow him everywhere. He'd watch his friends find their purpose, their confidence shining bright, while he just felt ordinary, like a plain stone on a path of shimmering gemstones. One morning, he finally worked up the courage to approach his master, an old monk with eyes as calm and deep as a forest lake. "Master," Kale started, his voice just a whisper, "I feel so lost. I study, I practice, I do my best, but I still don't know my purpose. What is my life's greatest value?" The old monk smiled, a gentle look that seemed to understand the core of Kale's turmoil. He didn't offer a simple answer. Instead, he led Kale to the monastery's quiet rock garden. He bent down, his hands moving with a slow grace, and picked up a smooth gray stone. It was bigger than his palm, but completely unremarkable. The kind of stone you'd step over 1,000 times without a second thought. He placed it in Kale's hands. It was cool and surprisingly heavy. "I want you to take this stone on a little journey," the master said calmly. "Go to the village market. If anyone asks the price, don't say a word. Just hold up 2 fingers. But remember the most important rule. No matter what, do not sell it. Just find its price. When you've done that, come back to me." Kyle was confused, but he was obedient. A rock? How could a worthless rock answer a question about his life's value? Still, he trusted his master. With the heavy stone in his bag and an even heavier question in his heart, he started down the mountain path. The village market was an explosion of sound, color, and life. Merchants shouted, the air smelled like ripe fruit and spices, and people haggled with fiery passion. Kale found a quiet spot and placed the gray stone on a small cloth. He felt ridiculous. All around him were people selling beautiful silks, handmade pottery, and fresh food. And he was just a boy with a rock. People would glance his way, their curiosity quickly turning to confusion. He could feel his face getting hot with embarrassment. Was this the master's point? To show him he was offering something with no value at all? After what felt like hours, a woman carrying a basket of vegetables finally stopped. She eyed the stone, then Kale. "How much for that stone, young man?" she asked. "It would make a good paperweight to keep my money from blowing away." Remembering his master's words, Kale stayed quiet and simply held up 2 fingers. The woman squinted. 2 coins? Kale shook his head. 20 then, she said, surprised. "For a simple stone? I suppose it's a good size." Kale was floored. 20 coins for a rock he'd picked up for free? There were thousands just like it back at the monastery. He almost laughed out loud. But he remembered the rule. So he just shook his head, packed up the stone, and walked away from the market with a strange new energy buzzing inside him. He got back to the monastery just as the sun was setting. "Master, you won't believe it," Kale said, his voice full of excitement. "A woman in the market offered 20 coins for this worthless stone." He felt proud, like he'd accomplished something amazing. "So can you tell me the value of my life now?" The master just smiled, his eyes twinkling. "Not yet," he said softly. "You've only just begun. Tomorrow, take the stone to the city museum. Do the same thing you did today. Then we'll see." The next day, Kale traveled to the Grand City Museum. The halls were silent, filled with priceless artifacts behind velvet ropes. He felt even more out of place here than he did in the market. He found a corner, set down his stone, and waited, his heart thumping with a mix of nerves and excitement. Scholars and wealthy visitors strolled by, their eyes fixed on ancient sculptures and famous paintings. No one gave him a second look. Kale's confidence from the day before started to fade. The stone looked so plain, so insignificant in this palace of treasures. Just as he was about to pack it in, an older man with a long gray beard and glasses stopped. He was the museum's curator, a man famous for his knowledge of history. He leaned in, his eyes wide with focus. and slowly circled the stone. "Young man," the curator whispered, his voice shaking a little. "Where did you get this? How much is it?" Again, Kyle said nothing. He just held up 2 fingers. The curator gasped. 2,000? He asked, his voice low. Kale shook his head. The curator's eyes got even wider. "Don't tell me. $20,000! This stone. It looks like a lost imperial jade, a relic from a forgotten dynasty. I must have it for our collection." "We'll pay!" Kale was so shocked he could barely breathe. $20,000. He felt dizzy. He respectfully shook his head, grabbed the stone, and almost ran out of the museum, leaving the curator calling after him. He burst into the master's meditation hall out of breath. "Master, the museum curator?" He offered $20,000 for the stone. He thought it was a rare jade. The master listened with that same deep calm, and then chuckled softly. "Excellent. But your journey isn't over. There is one last place to visit." Kale was completely bewildered. What could possibly be worth more than this? "Tomorrow," the master said, "take the stone to the most respected gemologist in the capital, the one who advises kings. After that, you will have your answer." On the 3rd day, Kale found the gemologist's shop on a quiet side street. Inside, an old man sat at a heavy wooden desk, looking at a diamond through a special lens. The shop smelled of old wood and polish. Kale waited. When the old man finally looked up, Kyle put the stone on the desk. The gemologist picked up the stone with reverence. He didn't just look at it. He studied it. He held it to the light, weighed it in his palm, and ran a small instrument over its surface. For a long, long time, there was only silence. Finally, he looked up at Kale, his eyes filled with an awe that dwarfed even the curator's excitement. "Where in the world did you find this?" the old man whispered. "This isn't a stone. This is a masterpiece. This is a star that has fallen to earth. It's a flawless diamond, so unique that it is, quite literally, priceless. Putting a number on it would be an insult. This is the kind of treasure a king would trade his entire kingdom for and still feel like he got the better deal." The old man looked Kale right in the eyes. "Whatever price you're thinking of, I'll pay it. I'll sell my shop, my home, everything. Just tell me what you want." Kale was frozen. The old man's words washed over him. Speechless, he just bowed, took the stone, and walked out of the shop in a total daze. Priceless. The simple gray rock was priceless. When Kale got back to the monastery, he found his master by a pond watching the koi fish. Kale didn't say anything. He just sat beside him, holding the stone, which now felt impossibly heavy. After a long silence, the master finally spoke. "So did you find the price?" Kale looked at his master, his eyes welling up with tears. "In the market, it was worth 20 coins to someone who saw it as a paperweight. In the museum, it was worth $20,000 to someone who saw it as a rare artifact. But in the hands of an expert who truly understood what it was priceless. The stone never changed, did it?" the master asked gently. It was always the same stone. And in that moment, Kale finally understood. "The answer to your question, Kale, is just like the journey of this stone," the master continued. "Your value doesn't come from other people's opinions. Your worth isn't decided by the marketplace, which might only see you for what you can do for them. It's not even decided by the museum, which might see your potential but still tries to put a price tag on it. Your true worth, your pricelessness, is only recognized by those who have the wisdom to see you for who you truly are. And most importantly, it's realized when you choose to put yourself in a place where that value can be seen." He looked right at Kyle. "If you aren't being valued, don't get angry. It just means you're in the wrong place. The people who know your value are the ones who appreciate you. Never stay in a place where no one sees your worth. Your value isn't something you have to earn. It's something you have to recognize. It's already in you, unchanging and absolute. You're not just a simple stone. You're a diamond. But you'll only feel priceless when you start seeing it in yourself and surround yourself with people who can see it too. The journey to knowing your own worth starts from within. It begins the moment you decide to stop letting other people put a price tag on you. You have to be the first one to see the diamond you are. So what are your strengths? What makes you unique? Celebrate those things and refuse to settle for places that treat you like just another stone. Your true worth is not up for negotiation. If this story meant something to you, please like the video and share it with someone who might need to hear this message today. And subscribe for more stories to help us find the wisdom within ourselves. We'd love to hear from you. Has there been a time in your life when you learned to recognize your own value? Let us know in the comment.